Right, okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about here is the left hand palm keys, which are going to give us the upper register notes of D, D sharp, E flat, E and F, followed by F sharp right at the top of the shop. Now, so far you've been very studious to try and avoid these keys around the side here, and also the keys just down the bottom here. But in these examples we are going to want to use these all the time, so we're going to need to get used to using these keys. There's an awful lot of work here that you can do, preparatory work here, that you can do away from blowing the saxophone. So take the neck off, take the mouthpiece off, put them to one side, and just see whether you can sit there and actually finger your way through the notes, finding out exactly which ones that you've got to press. There's the whole deal about getting both hands to work in a simultaneous fashion here as well. When you go for E, for example, you've got to get one key on here and these two on at the same time. F would give you the same kind of problem. All right, so you just need to spend a bit of time fingering around the instrument there, trying to make sure that you know where you are, and trying to marry these notes up between your tutor book, between your fingering chart, and actually what you've got right in front of you. One little tip that I will give you there is that it's sometimes difficult to look at this area and see exactly which note is which. If you think about this one though, where the key is from there, D, E, F. That's the note of D, the E and the F key just going on there, and then you can trace your way back to where your finger starts on them. So the next major difficulty that you've got is about posture, is about keeping yourself straight, and about keeping this saxophone straight as well. We only want to see this going on. That's as much movement as we want from the hands. You're always playing the first two, the front part of that finger just there, and then the last note, the note of F, is being played just in here. Okay. With these side keys, I'm playing no more than using that part of the finger just here. Okay, and just one key that's going to open up just there. Now we need to keep the saxophone still, us still, it still. A lot of people tend to readjust themselves. Keep yourself still. Don't sort of be tempted to do this kind of thing, or move about, move your shoulders about when you come to one of the top notes. Keep yourself still. Try not to knock the saxophone over as you're hitting these keys. You hit them too hard, you've lost all the balance out of your thumb. So your thumb needs to keep on the back here, nice and pushed in, a little bit harder, just so that you're getting that solid balance there. And that's all you're doing with these keys to open them up, is that. Alright, you really don't need to be seeing this. It also brings the instrument out of your mouth as well. Now when we're coming into the mouth position here, the notes are a little bit higher than what we've been used to. You have a tendency to try and sort of tighten up a little bit here, lip them up a little bit more because they are higher. So you need to be careful of that. You need to keep the airflow going, you need to keep your diaphragm correct, keep your posture correct, and that will help you obtain these notes. Now finally then, when you're coming to practice them, it's a little bit more now of a painful experience for both you and those around you listening. You know, up until now you've played notes and tunes which are fairly good. Now you're going to be taking on notes which are going to be very piercing. You're liable to upset the neighbours. You know, the cat's probably going to be diving into its basket. So you need to be careful what you're doing here. Probably just take them for 5 to 10 minutes in any one practice schedule, without sort of wearing yourself through them, because they are difficult to try and obtain. All right. So let's just explain to you where these notes are again. So D just here with the octave key on, obviously around the back, and it's going to sound like this. And you've got D sharp, E flat, which is the second one, 1 and 2. We have this finger on over here for E. This one here, everything is still open, 1, 2, 3, and this one here for F. And then finally, this one just here will give you F sharp. Now that then takes you right to the top of the shop, the official sort of top of the shop there. Just for those saxophone players there, if you're looking at your saxophone and you're short of a note here, it may well be that you've got an older style of saxophone which doesn't have a top F sharp key on there, in which case you are going to need to refer to some of the fingering guides, which is going to give you an alternative fingering for getting top F sharp. Okay, the F sharp key came on the saxophones around about sort of 72, 73. So you will find that anything post that, especially student wise, should have F sharp keys on it. But if you don't have one, you may need to find an alternative way to finger that particular note. But a good fingering chart or your teacher will be able to help you there. Now, just finally, one good way for you to play these notes and for you to get used to playing these notes will be for you to play tunes that you already know. So, you know, whatever. If you know the tune of Happy Birthday down below, you might want to then take that up the octave and see whether you can play it using these top notes here. Okay. The main thing about them is that you want these notes to be part of the whole register of the saxophone. You don't want to have this kind of situation where you've got notes in the middle of the instrument and then you've got the high notes and then you have the low notes down the bottom. Okay, they should all be one continuous flow, and you would certainly, from about sort of grade 4, grade 5 onwards, you would want to be looking at these notes being just a part of everything that you do. Okay, you shouldn't be afraid of them. They should be there and they should be in tune. That's just one final thing there. You want to go back to the thing that we spoke about, intonation. It's going to be very important for you to make sure that these notes are in tune with the notes that are below them, the octave below them. So when you're playing D, D to D, D sharp to D sharp, E to E, F to F, okay, F sharp, getting on in there, making sure that they are in tune with themselves when you're actually going to play them.